All right, y'all, welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back to another great video. So in this video, we're gonna talk about, what do you do after a tough loss as a boxer? All right, so I'm gonna give a personal account of my toughest loss as a boxer, where my mind state was at, what changes I had to implement, and just different things I had to do to continue the sport. We all know this sport is a hard sport. We all know this sport is a dangerous sport, and sometimes it can get, your motivation can flee, all right? So I'm gonna talk about how to keep that motivation up, how to keep that courage up, how to keep your mind right into the fight, and what you can do to help yourself get better so it don't happen again.
From the south side of the A.
Came up walking like this, came up talking like this, asking me where I came from, I tell you straight like this. I'm from the south side, baby. Came up walking like this, came up talking like this, asking me where I came from, I tell you straight like this. I'm from the south side, baby,
Yeah.
baby.
Hey, count my little racks, I keep it neat. At the peak state and shit sweet. It's a cold world, bet I keep it heat. Try and wake them on up, but these niggas sleep.
All right, YouTube, so like I said in the intro, we're gonna talk about what you should do after a tough loss. I'm gonna give a personal account of mine. All right, so like in my third, fourth fight, I had a tough loss. I wasn't really experienced. I was learning from my mistakes, and still just learning as I was going, right? And like a lot of people are, especially amateur boxers, we learning as we go. So you have to take that time to learn, to make sure that you are implementing what you are learning, all right? So what I wasn't doing was implementing what I was learning. We trained hard, I worked hard, I ate well, but when them lights came on, I kind of got a little hesitant and kind of forgot about some of the stuff that we went over and all the things that we drilled. One of the things that I learned in that tough fight, in my tough loss, is you got to stay focused throughout the whole fight. You cannot just do well in the first round or even do well in the second round and then kind of let off on the gas, and in the third round think nothing gonna change. That person that you fighting is making adjustments as well. So they're gonna try to make sure that they do what they need to come out with that W. So you have to make sure you take that person serious and stay on their bumper the whole time, all right? That's something that I had to learn as a fighter. One thing I also learned during this tough loss is it's a mental game. Boxing is all mental. It's all mental, more than muscle, more than punching. You have to be able to be mentally tough, all right? So mental fortitude. It takes a lot of mental toughness to get through a loss. It takes a lot of mental toughness to get through a drop, to get through a knockdown. It takes a lot of toughness to get through a hard hit. So you have to make sure that you are remaining mentally tough. How do you be mentally tough? You have to train it. Do hard things. Train hard. Spar hard. Fight people that's better than you, all right? Don't just fight people that's under you so you can look good. Fight people that's better than you so you can be good, even if that means you coming out on the L or coming out on the loss, all right? So you have to make sure you implement those things as well into your natural training and into your workouts. Another thing I learned through my tough loss as a fighter was you have to make sure you keeping the fundamentals fundamental, all right? So one thing I learned was I'm throwing my right hand, I'm dropping my right hand before I bring it back. So I make sure I throw it and snap it back. Simple things like this can make the difference between a win and a loss, all right? So you have to make sure every little thing that you're doing, every little habit, the way that you drill will be the way that you perform. I like to tell my people this all the time. The way that you drill, that's the way that you perform. So the way you drill like you will be in the ring, like somebody really trying to attack you, all right? So once it's time to perform, you can perform this way. A lot of people take these things for granted, thinking you're gonna come in and just be more talented than somebody or more skillful or more athletic than somebody, and you don't realize the other parts that boxing plays when it comes to this sport, all right? You gotta be mentally strong again. You gotta make sure your stamina and endurance is up, and then you also have to make sure that you are making adjustments throughout the fight, which a great fighter will do. Another thing that I learned while doing my tough loss as a fighter is just be patient with the process. Again, this was the third, fourth fight. I'm early in this game, and if I'm being honest, if I didn't have a fight that next following week, I probably would have quit boxing. Like, I was that fucked up about it, all right? So you have to make sure you be patient. I understand how, pride and stuff get in the way of us as fighters, and you don't want to lose. You don't want to get embarrassed. You don't want to come down and not be on top, okay? So I understand this, but at the same time, again, you got to assess yourself for where you at. So if you just beginning, take those lumps as you go, and then keep getting better as you're moving on, all right? You got to take them lumps. Ain't nobody going to come in just being great. So you have to take those lumps, and I had to learn that. I had to be patient, enjoy the process, work a little bit harder, work on my jabs, work on my right hands, and most importantly, work on my defense, all right? So my last and final thing that I learned is defense is key. All right, so I know a lot of people want to throw hands and you just want to knock people out. You want to get them up out of there. You want to look flashy. You want to be Roy Jones and Floyd and all these other great fighters. But one thing you have to understand, even these flashy fighters, a lot of them have great defense. Without great defense, you're going to get hit. Understand this boxing, so you are going to get touched. But it's a hit and not get hit sport, all right? So you're not trying to go in there and hit somebody and allow them to hit you. You're trying to make sure you land your punch and they don't land theirs. And that's something I had to learn, how important defense was. We all know that defense is important, but to what degree? And now, after that, I learned that defense should be the first thing with the jab that you should be learning and implementing and drilling more than anything else, because it will save you. Defense will save you, all right? Defense is just not about getting away from somebody, but it's also about setting up another punch or setting up a counter punch or setting up your knockout punch, all right? So you have to make sure you implement that defense. All these things is something that I learned through a tough loss. You're going to go through losses. You're not going to always win. You're not going to always be on top. You're not going to always be great. So you're going to go through tough losses. It's all about how you bounce back. Make sure that you are learning from your loss. Don't just take an L and sit on your L, all right? Learn from your losses, get better with your wins, be humble with your wins, and I guarantee you'll be a great fighter. I hope y'all really like this video. Hope you learned something from this video. Hope you took something away from this video. This is a personal story that I actually went through, and I think it helped me become a better fighter, and also a better coach to be able to talk to people about this type of stuff. And if you've been through a loss, I had a loss already, hey, it's just the beginning. Get back on that horse and get back to it. Keep drilling, keep practicing. Think defense, work that jab, think footwork, get that stamina and endurance up, and I guarantee you'll be a great fighter. Hope to see y'all on the next one.
But not no more, oh, no, cause I can't be